Minutes are already counting down at pace, so we have 5 minutes gone already and 10 minutes to go, with the 95 Ferrari working its way out of Rima's corner and plunging then down the hill towards Rindt corner. So 5 minutes gone already, and the car goes over the line driven by Raymond Vos, number 5 Ram Racing Mercedes, that goes fastest, in fact, 1:31.474 for Raymond Vos, sharing with Tom Onslow Cole come the race. And Raymond Vos, phenomenally impressive during the Imola 12 hours that was run at the end of last month. Just about sneaked onto the podium after a tremendous final stint from Raymond, and defensive driving required, but not overly so. He was at no point ever blocking his opponents, and just carried just about enough speed from faster guys, but more experienced guys than Raymond Vos. But Vos, make no bones about it, wants to get to the highest level within motorsport. He's already raced at Le Mans and would dearly like a seat in the main 24 hours in coming years. 9 minutes to go, Graham.
Absolutely. 1:31.474 then from Raymond Vos, his banker, good enough to get the car on the grid, of course, but could he now be grabbing a first pole position this season for this car? Christoph Ulrich within 2/10 or just outside 2/10 of that, and Lee Moe with an improved time just a few hundredths beyond that, so it's half a second separates the top 4 at the moment. Just the EP Motors car, the 46 of Emanuele Busnelli, now not having set a time. The Cedric Nazar is a little off the ultimate pace, 2.8 seconds back. The top 4 within around half a second. So things progressing quite nicely for what could and should be quite a tight race between this 6 car, but nicely varied and certainly high quality GT3 grid for the Le Mans Cup. And remember, with the LMP3 cars still to come in their session.
Bit of a wiggle there, heading into Rindt corner for Flick Haig, an indication of how much on it the Audi R8 is here. So clearly Flick going for a fast one, and the time will disappear very fast, because obviously once the cars are released, the clock starts to count down there. You need a good 3 minutes to do your outlap, and then the first of the flyers, and Flick Haig slowly winding up the pace, Graham.
And she did she popped that car into second on the provisional grid, just 16 thousandths of a second back from Raymond Vos, 1:31.474. We said that she'd actually made something of a speciality of this one, 1:31.492 rather, 1:31.276 though, because it's changing as I'm speaking, making it terrifically difficult to keep up. It's the Ferrari. Christoph Ulrich takes the Ferrari 458 to pole position, a provisional pole position, more than halfway through the session now. It's 1:31.276, 2/10 of an advantage over Raymond Vos. He though is improving on this lap, so is Flick Haig, so is Lee Moe. Emanuele Busnelli now pops up as well into 5th position in the 46 car. Cedric Mazar still some way off the overall pace, but the top 5 cars now within 7/10 of a second.
One of the documents I really like poring over with a coffee that is released by the timing company Alcamel Systems here. They do an order of fastest lap through the course of qualifying, and I remember at Monza during the LMP3 part of the race for the part of qualifying for ELMS, we had so many different names in provisional pole. It's Christoph Ulrich for GT3 within the Michelin Le Mans Cup at the moment, but there is movement just behind that time.
Well, only because Romain Vos briefly went up to pole position but has had that lap taken away due to track limits. So Romain Vos in the number 5 car loses a provisional pole position. Flick Haig now, though, does go up into provisional pole position. A 130.839 for the Optima Audi, the 75 car, the first car with, at the moment, a legal lap under 131. So we'd expect this, Johnny, through this qualifying session. These are, remember, bronze-rated drivers. You would expect to see progressive improvement, and that's what we've seen throughout with the Michelin Le Mans Cup, with the GT drivers and the LMP3 drivers. Great qualifying format in a Pro-Am series to give the AM drivers more of the track time and more of the responsibility for where that car's going to start the race.
Incidentally, Raymond Voss's time was taken away from him as Busnelli now goes across the line to go quicker than anybody else. A 130.0 for Emanuele Busnelli and goes straight off the track then, the very next corner. Thankfully, he'd already got the time in the books for the EB Motorsports guys. So EB Motors with their Lamborghini Huracan now fastest by 3/4 of a second, and this is the moment where Emanuele was celebrating a little bit too much, entirely missed the apex. Thankfully there's loads of runoff there. Across the Austrian flag he goes, finds the extra traction, and there's still 5 minutes to go. But turn 9, which is where Raymond Vos was judged to have pushed it a bit too wide, is the last corner, and often we see drivers running very wide there, back onto the main start-finish straight. Still some very good times coming in, Graham.
There are. Flick Haig is improving on this lap, as is Christoph Ulrich. Doesn't get quite close enough though, Flick Haig. It's another sub 131 lap from her, but no improvement. Watching for what Christoph Ulrich can actually produce. The number 7 car of Lee Mole, meanwhile, gets a lap time deleted, but that won't affect the overall order here. So 130.074 plays 130.839. Busnelli from Haig, but now it's Busnelli from Ulrich, because he just leapfrogs the Optima Audi, putting the Ferrari back up into second fastest, a 130.765 his time that time around. There's going to be no improvement on the current lap from the Lamborghini because it ran wide at turn 1, as we saw. So who, in the final 4 minutes, can do anything about what is a considerably quicker time from that EB Motors Lamborghini?
Hint of a smallish tank slapper for Christoph Ulrich as he left turn 1, but he kept it within the confines of the track limit, so that was good news. Didn't lose a great deal of time in that rather old but great to see it out Ferrari 458. Here comes the Ram Racing Mercedes then. Cedric Mezar has pitted in the number 8 car, the SVC Sport Management Machine, as Vos goes across the line to go second fastest.
He does, 130.512, so under half a second back now from Busnelli. There's still time to do more here. And that all came, that improvement for Raymond Vos all came in the middle sector. His quickest, but no improvement in the other two. There's time to come from that Mercedes.
And Flick Haig with an improvement through the middle sector on her personal best, so this might bump her up the times as well. She goes third from 4th fastest and has got the gap down now between the Audi and the fastest car, which is the Lamborghini from EB Motors, to 2/3 of a second now. 0.666 is the time between Busnelli and Flick Haig, who is now 3rd fastest, and Busnelli on a bit of a flyer in the EB Motors car as Christoph Ulrich now jumps ahead of Flick Haig into 3rd position, but not quite quick enough to go faster than Raymond Vos in the number 5.
Those two, Ulrich and Haig, are having a mighty battle here. It's thousands at most. It's 100th or 2 between those two over the last 3 or 4 flying laps. A great qualifying session, other than for the overall pole, where there's still those 0.4 of a second that anybody needs to find to get onto terms with Emanuele Busnelli. He did indeed do a quicker sector 1 time, but the lap abandoned after that. So no improvement from the provisional pole setter. 2 minutes and 20 seconds remain on the clock. Who can do something about it? Flick Haig is improving again and goes fastest of all in the middle sector. Now, what is this going to be from the Optima Motorsport car? We did say, Johnny, at the top of the show that she's made a bit of a reputation for herself of pulling something out the bag in the latter parts of the session. Is she going to do that now? 2 minutes remain. She comes through to complete the lap. What is this going to be? 130.740 was her previous best. 130.074 is the pole position time at the moment. Flick Haig will cross the line in just a few moments and will go second at 130.406. So Lamborghini from Audi from Mercedes-Benz now.
Just 0.3 of a second away from Emanuele Busnelli's time in this car, the EB Motors Lamborghini Huracan, with the Italian flag nicely painted along the skirting there. It's a mainly dark blue car with the gold detailing, and this car has gone quicker than it's managed through sector 1. We are slowly losing the time though here, and it'll get, if it decides to, at the end of this, one more lap. So through Rint corner comes the Lambo, brilliantly driven by Busnelli, using the curb, yes, but not too much of it, risking maybe dropping all four wheels across the white line, exiting the final corner. The car stays fastest, but that time is actually not an improvement. So still in provisional pole position is the 46 car. The 75 of Flick Haig just coming through the turn. She's not improved through sector 1 though, having done that 1:30.4 last time around.
But only a tenth off though, Johnny. She has though gone again fastest in the middle sector. This could again be another good lap from Flick Haig. She's not. She's just going to have, I think, enough time if this one doesn't nail it to get one more shot at this.
This should.
That looked a little wide to me.
Okay, so maybe a little bit ragged through the final sector, but as you say, she'll get one more stab at it over the line in a second. A 1:30.0. She's 2/10 off her. No, that is improvement.
That's improvement.
2/10 off the Busnelli time. I thought it was 2/10 off her own time. No, she found a further couple of tenths there. As
she does lose that lap,
right,
though. I thought she did.
A bit ragged.
That was turn 9 wide, I think. It was indeed turn 9.
Okay.
A little wide to me, and that's, I think, a correct call from race control. So the clock has expired. We still do have cars quick on the circuit, including the pole position car, which has improved its middle sector time. And Emanuele Busnelli's body language for that Lamborghini looking pretty aggressive as it comes through to complete the lap. Is this going to be a further improvement for that car? He'll have to do pretty well here in the final sector. He does, and he goes under 1:30. It's a 1:29.991 from the number 46 EB Motors Lamborghini Huracan. And I'm not sure there's going to be much that Flick Haig can do about that. 0.4 of a second now is the advantage.
And remember, Emanuele will be joined by Fabio Babini come the race, who is a Lamborghini specialist. So that team could really take some beating in the 2 hours later on today. It's a 4 till 6 o'clock race, by the way, local time.
Flick Haig, though, has matched both those first two sectors of the pole position car. She's coming through to complete the lap now. Can she make an improvement? We'll know in just a couple of seconds.
We're waiting for that car to leave the final corner and head back across the line.
She does!
It is improvement, but she doesn't get pole position. Tell us the time, Graham.
It's a 1:30.339. It's 0.3 off, but matching almost 10th for 10th. Well, 10th for 10th of the first two sectors, dropped 0.3 to the Lamborghini in the final sector, but still did her fastest time. She's becoming quite a force in the qualifying here, Flick Haig. Impressive stuff again, but more impressive still as Fabio Babini in the garage there takes the congratulations of the rest of the team. And Emanuele Busnelli with some spellbinding stuff there aboard the number 46 EB Motors Lamborghini.
That's the second pole position of the year for Busnelli and Babini. They were victorious as far as qualifying was concerned in Monza. That was before Le Mans, of course, in the May meeting for the Michelin Le Mans Cup, the opening race of the year. They're currently 4th in the championship behind, well, Ahmed Al-Hati and Tom Jackson, who are not here this weekend, but they had a tremendous meeting at Le Mans with 2 victories in the Road to Le Mans race. But now the regular season continues, and we look to the regular season contenders. Lee Mole and Phil Keane currently leading then of those here at Red Bull Ring, from Cedric Mezar and Stevie S, who drive their number 8 SVC Sport Management Lamborghini Huracan. And then it is Busnelli and Babini effectively 3rd in the championship of the regulars. So this will give them an extra point. They'll jump up to 24.5 and actually overtake Cedric Mezar and Stevie S in the championship as a result.
So at the end of that session, Johnny, the 6 cars separated by under 3 seconds, but the top 4 separated by under 0.7 of a second.
trying to line up Fabio Bobini maybe for a little bit of a reaction, but there is a resume of the times, a 1:29.991, tremendous effort then from Emanuele Busnelli for breaking the 1 minute 30 marker and just falling short by 0.348 of a second. Flick Haig in the Audi, which carries the same engine as the Lamborghini Huracans, the 5.2 V10. Badged as an Audi in the back of the 75, in the middle of the 75 car. Raymond Vos, good effort from the Dutchman, sharing with Tom Onslow Cole in the number 5 Ram Racing Mercedes. His time a 1:30.512, so just half a second short of Busnelli's effort. Then it was Christoph Ulrich in the number 95 Ferrari 458 from Spirit of Race. Fifth fastest was Lee Mole, and Lee, I think, under a little bit of a question as whether he crossed the entry white line into the pits. We have a blend line both on the exit and the entry to the pit lane.
That was Cedric Mazar who did that, not Lee Mole.
Okay.
Cedric Mazar has been reported to...
Which was car 8.
Indeed, to the stewards.
I thought I saw a message about car 7 as well. But
you're right,
yes.
You're absolutely right, he did. He's been reported for crossing the pit entry line. So
that was Lee Mole in 5th position, but nevertheless he held on to the time that meant that he will start from 5th place and as championship leaders effectively with Phil Keane, looking to build on that great victory at Monza at the start of the year. They had a decent points finish in the second Road to Le Mans race, but were only just classified in the first. So disappointment from the, what was that, Thursday race, wasn't it? Held very early on in race week, and then the second of those Road to Le Mans events was held on Saturday morning prior to the 24 hours.
Well, that was exciting enough with 6 GT3 cars. We've got 15 LMP3 those cars, though, to follow, Johnny.
We certainly have, and we've managed to grab Emanuele Busnelli, I'm pleased to tell you. So let's hand down to a face that you will recognise across the weekend. Here is Charlie George.
Yeah, I'm down here in the pit lane with Emanuele. Fantastic pole position here at Red Bull Ring for the Lamborghini, and your second pole of the season.
Yeah, I'm very happy. I mean, I was a bit unlucky on Spa, on Le Mans, and I mean, I was second, but it was a great pole position. I make not almost a perfect lap, but quite good lap, just a little mistake. So I'm very happy. The car was great. The team made a great job.
Is this a good circuit for the Lamborghini?
Yes, because you know, Lamborghini we are good breakers. You know, we can brake really fast, strongly, and late. So for Lambo it's fine. We just have a little bit more handling on the curve number 6 and 7, but we are sorting out those problems. But for the rest, it's a good place to be.
Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you very much.
That's Charlie George speaking to Emanuele Busnelli, and we look forward to seeing how he'll get on with his teammate Fabio Bobini, as I say, for the third round of the year, or the fourth race of the year, for the 2017 Michelin Le Mans Cup.
So a goodly proportion of the LMP3 cars lined up at the Exeter pit road, not including this one yet. This will be Eric de Doncker on the Mudsport 98 car. 15 LMP3s. A collection of Ligiers and Normas here, with just the one Norma, I think.
That's right,
this weekend, the number 3 car.
But
this car,
it has shown great form so far this year, with a slightly more pointed nose and the orange and black colours, so we should be able to pick that out from the DKR engineering team, a team based in Luxembourg, and Jean Glorieux will be doing the qualifying, the Belgian driver, sharing with Alex Terrell, who is a very fast silver driver from Spain.
meantime, the number 23 car, this is the Gulf Marine liveried United Autosports car, Sean Lynn and Richard Means. That's a pairing that are finding their form in the LMP3 class.
It is actually DKR Engineering that lead the championship, by the way, having taken second position at Monza and a win in the second race at Le Mans. But they have taken all the pole positions this year, DKR Engineering, in the lone Norma. We did have a few more Normas for the Road to Le Mans events.
I think we'll be seeing more of that car. We'll see an additional car, by the way, an additional Norma to the regular Ligier field in the European Le Mans Series later. A quick look at the SPV Motorsport car, and this is the the number 9 car. That's the Duquesne Engineering car, represented both in the Michelin Le Mans Cup and the LMS. And it's this team that's added a Norma to their stable. Then the number 79 car, Johnny, and this has been another form car this year.
Yeah, it certainly has. Race winner at Monza, although only getting half points for each of the Road to Le Mans events. Nevertheless, the 25 points it got for victory in Italy puts it second in the championship, trailing by 10 points from that DKR Engineering Norma, which is at the front of the queue.
But all these cars on the Michelin rubber for the Michelin Le Mans Cup. Not a surprise,
Closing
really.
the title there, isn't it?
Absolutely. The Ibrahim Bardo Javier car, run by BE Motorsport, the number 33 car.
And this car...
That's another double bronze car, isn't it?
It went to Le Mans, but didn't, sadly, get race finishes for the 33. So, looking to really get its championship underway now.
Good to see the number 12 SVC Sport Management car out there.
Under 1 minute to open pit lane.
This would be Marcello Martiotti. We hear the dulcet tones of the race director, Eduardo Freitas. This car, pleased to see it there, actually, Johnny. That had a bit of an off in free practice yesterday. Damaged the nose, but back out on track this morning.
Excellent to see. And just going to check back to see how much we've caught of Marco Cencetti. Yes, he has shared with Marcello Martiotti in the past for SVC Sport Management, who are an Austrian team. We're a bit lacking in Austrian drivers this weekend, I'm afraid to say, but there are 1 or 2 teams that are based here, will have ties with Austria, so they'll be looking to really do well in their home race. We've had Klaus Bachler race here in the past,
we have,
but not in this championship this year at least.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pit exit is open. Pit exit is open. Please remind drivers of absolute respect of track limits.
So Eduardo Freitas giving the go-ahead for this 15-minute session to get started, and it's going to be very busy early on. It might even pay some of these drivers just to ease back very slightly to try and find a bit of a gap in the traffic. The DKR Engineering Norma is gone, though, like a bullet from a gun, trying to find some space. And Jean Glorieux, as we've mentioned, already with pole positions. Remember, he was doing the qualifying duty at Monza and came out as the fastest car. So we'll see how that Norma M30, with the same engine as all the Ligiers, gets on here along the sweeps and climbs of Red Bull Ring.
Yeah, LMP3, same engine, same gearbox, produced as a package for the LMP3 spec cars by Orica. And well over 100 of those drivetrains now in circulation. And not a million miles away from that kind of number, purely of the Ligier. The new Norma, meanwhile, is gathering a little bit of momentum in the marketplace. The 10th chassis is here this weekend in the hands of Duquesne Engineering for the ELMS. This is an earlier car from the same production batch, DKR Engineering. There goes the number 33 car to start their qualifying runs. It will be, though, the championship leading Norma, Jean Glorieux, aboard that car, number 3 car, that will be the first to embark upon a timed flying lap. And here they go. Round 3 of the Michelin Le Mans Cup, taking into account the 2-race double-header, in fact, for the Le Mans Cup as part of that Road to Le Mans race. 13 minutes remain to set pole position around this tight, twisty, up, down, but most of all, utterly beautiful circuit. It's a fantastic place to come motor racing. We do love coming here, don't we, Johnny?
Oh, certainly so. And when the weather is kind, it is a beautiful place to be. For the main part through the day, it's been incredibly warm, but often this warm summer weather then has to break at some point. And we had a tremendous storm, was that Thursday night into Friday, but left the track very, very green for early qualifying for these cars, or early free practice for these cars. This is the only qualifying session for the 15 LMP3s in the Michelin Le Mans Cup, and as always, the time disappears very quickly. 12.5 minutes to go, although Jean Glorieux has managed to gap everybody else, so he's not got anyone in front of him nor behind, and can focus entirely on the road. Through Wurst Alpine corner he goes, over this slight rise into the woods with the trees left and right, and down into Rindt corner. Important to get this one right.
Now, this is a car that has shown some real advantage in the wide open spaces of Monza, and again at the Le Mans 24 Hours, it did lead to Ligier making a change, an approved change to the rear wing of the JSP3s. Let's see what occurs here on the rather more tight and twisty, more technical circuit, the Red Bull Ring.
So their review of the DKR engineering Norma, working its way then across the curbs, and Glorieux setting the pace with Tony Wells not very far behind. He's got a couple of seconds to try and find on Glorieux's effort. The Nielsen Racing 79 car, though, is the second across the line. Tony Wells sharing again with Colin Noble, and Tony is one of 4 drivers on double duty this weekend. Both the pilots in car 4 in the LMP3s, the Cool Racing by GPC Ligier, are doing both races. So Iraj Alexander and Alexandra Kwani set for a very busy weekend.
And there will be no improvement for Jean Glorieux on this lap. He's already been pinged for a track limits infringement, so 1:27.984 will still be the target at the end of this lap. Charlotte Lumley there, the ever busy team coordinator for United Autosports. They have a mere 5 cars here this weekend.
Looking very serious there with Charlotte,
very
wasn't
serious
she?
Person.
Focused ahead of this session, which means so much, although we've got a 2-hour race, of course, after it, so setting the grid only does a certain amount. There's been an incident at turn 1, we're hearing. That's the reason for the yellow flag icon on the screen.
That won't, though, affect the lap this time around for several of the front runners. 1:27.984, as we said, is the time to beat. From Jean Glorieux, Tony Wells crosses the line now, drops the gap to under a second. It's 1:28.879. Martiotti pops in third briefly, but Fontes, the number 44 car, this car, under 6/10 now back.
Just trying to work out what...
It's the 99 car, the N-Race car, I believe, that's had a problem.
Ah, there it was. Yes, a spin for that car, and it ended up to driver's right on the grass, actually not on the racing line. Yellow flag certainly required, and everyone coming through there at a sensible speed, but the 99 car was able to rejoin relatively easily. Nose to tail action here at the top of the hill, exiting Remus. That's not quite the top of the hill because the track continues to gain altitude, and then over the top this plunge downhill into a tough braking area because you're descending quite a bit, and the grippier side of the circuit is to the left, with the 12 car very, very slow mid-corner. So the 44 is able to get through. 44 was really on a fast lap there, already up to second fastest, and driving that is Alvaro Fontes, the Spaniard, and really he was balked by Marcello Marattiotto there at Rauch corner. Marattiotto, I think, trying to stay out of the way, but in the end really cost the 44 some time. 9 minutes to go. I don't think there's going to be improvement from SPV, but there might be from Nielsen Racing. That car's a bit further around the track, and yes, it does go faster.
Another car in trouble at looks like turn 1 to me. That's the number 9 Decane Engineering car. Not one of the contenders at the moment for pole position. The yellow flag's been displayed there. The 9, though, looks to have made its way back onto track. The flag's withdrawn.
So, and this is what happened to the number 9 Duquesne Engineering car, very similar to the 99 in fact. This time it didn't find the grass to driver's right though. It did find that very large sausage curb, which is there to catch you out if you push the track limits a bit too much on the exit of turn 1, and that could easily rip off a dive plane or a bit of the front splitter if you catch it at the wrong angle. 2 cars again very tightly bunched. They'll head across the line now with still over half the session to go.
Jean Glorieux on this lap is quickest of all through sector 1, and just a tenth or 2 behind him. Tony Wells currently third in the qualifying order, also putting in the quickest time for his car. So improvements certainly possible here. Wells did improve last time around. He's 7 tenths back now from the provisional pole position setter. So quick laps coming. 65 car improves to 5th position. That is the Graf Racing car of Adrian Chila. It's a fastest middle sector of the session 2 for the number 3 car. This could well be an improved time for what is already the provisional pole setter. 1:27.984 was the quickest time as we watch the achingly pretty number 23 car.
And that has Richard Mines in it. And Glorio does improve, and he was already in provisional pole position, so it doesn't improve his position, but he goes through with a better time, a 1:27.355, and the 44 cars also found a bit of time as well, with Alvaro Fontes driving it. 1:28.0 brings it to within 2/3 of a second of Glorio's time.
Yep, big improvement there from Fontes. There's improvements up and down the order. Getting lap times, though, deleted for track limits by some of the cars, tending, though, to be the cars in the middle and the lower order here. No sign of that being a problem for Glorio or Fontes at the moment.
Interesting that Matthijs Bakker has been put in that 33 car, though. Javier Ibram and Bakker are both bronze drivers. Despite Ibram being driver number 1, they had the choice to put either in, as the car goes straight on there at the first corner. That was the achingly pretty one, wasn't it?
I think it's the B8, that's the Ibram Javier car.
That's the 33 car we're talking about, so that's the reason why the lap that it's on will be deleted way out wide. And despite an early spin for the number 99 car, which is the N-Race entry, Tomo Akari has done pretty well to get that car into, well, last time I checked it was 6th. It's now up to 4th fastest, and it's in fact not Akari driving it, beg your pardon, it's his teammate Alain Costa at the wheel.
A big improvement that time around for the number 98 car, and the Hans-Erik Dodonka goes up to 5th position with a 1:28.954. Shooting that car up the order from something like 13th or 14th position into the top 5. No sign at the moment of anybody with 5.5 minutes to go challenging the pole position time. A further car in trouble at turn 1. This time it's the other United car, the 22 car. That'll be Jim Maguire. And the number 3 car, the pole position car, has lost a lap time, but it responds by going quickest of all in sector 1 again. Tony Wells still looking to improve the time of that number 79 Nielsen Motorsport car, who's watching timing screens very carefully indeed. And Fontes, the second place car, is the latest to attract the attention of the race director. Track limits for the lap he is currently on.
Jean Glorio again improving, not only through sector 1 but 2 as well, so Glorio possibly an opportunity to extend the gap yet further. It's up to 0.6 of a second, back to Alvaro Fontes in the yellow 44 car. Alain Costa's done tremendously well for N-Race to get up to 3rd fastest now, been working his way up the timing and scoring screen, slowly but surely. Tony Wells has been 2nd fastest, it's now down to 4th, it's the 79 car, as there is further improvement for Jean Glorio then in the number 3 DKR Engineering Norma.
Drags almost a further 2/10 out of it. It's a 1:27.163 this time for the number 3 DKR Engineering Norma. But the gap closed a little again, but Fontes, of course, loses that time. So it clawed back just a few hundredths. But closing in on Fontes' time, Tony Wells now improves to 3rd position. He's just, under 100th of a second back in 3rd position. So 3 from 44 from 79. And now Sean Lynn pops the number 23 United Autosports car up into 4th position. That, I'm sure, must be their highest qualifying position at the moment of the season. So Sean Lynn doing a fine job aboard that 23 car. Running wide a little earlier, of course, in the Gulf Marine liveried car. His son Alex doing great things both in the FI World Endurance Championship and, of course, in Formula E last weekend.
Yeah, sitting out the Nürburgring round of the WEC to be in Brooklyn instead. But he'll be back in the ACO Championship for the next round, I believe. 3 minutes to go. And here is the N-Race car now slipping to 5th fastest with Alain Costa at the wheel. Can Alain improve this time as he goes across the line? Still waiting for the 99 car, beg your pardon, to appear at the Red Bull Mobile corner, turn 9, and exit it. It's a 1:27.163 then to try and beat of Jean Glorio.
It's a big improvement for Costa. It's not quite enough. He's under 6/10 back, though, as Glorio pits with under 3 minutes remaining. Tony Wells, though, pops up into 3rd. So with 2 track limits laps for the 44 car, the SPV car, that's cost them dear. That's lost them a couple of places in the order, because up into 2nd place now goes the N-Race car of Costa with a 1:27.729. That plays the 1:27.163, by the way, for this car, the provisional pole position car. Tony Wells improved as well to 1:27.8. That would have been good enough for second had it not been for Costa's lap seconds before.
But a tremendous effort for Costa to leap from 5th fastest up to 2nd. Yes, he's still got 5.5 tenths to try and find on Glorio's time, and that seems unlikely now as DKR Engineering practice a pit stop. Not sure they'll send the car back out again with 2 minutes to go, but it's always useful for the pit crew to know exactly what they're doing with a bit of extra practice there. As the car is going to be released onto fresh tyres, will it be sent out again? The problem is they won't be able to get back round before the clock reads 0. So the car is going to sit there, and that was just a dummy pit stop effectively to set them up for the race a little later on this afternoon.
Put themselves under a bit of pressure. Fontes, meanwhile, goes through sector 2, the number 44 car. This is the SPV car with the fastest middle sector of the session. Can he do anything about the domination of this session to this point by Jean Glorio?
Costa's improved again. Tony Wells improves again. We don't see improvements in positions though. The 99 and the 79 remain 2nd and 3rd fastest.
Fontes though goes second, and it's a quarter of a second the gap now, so it's a 1:27.426 for the number 44 car. So they are edging ever closer, but are running out of time, just a minute left. So the cars out there right now will have one more shot at grabbing this pole position from the Norma, the DKR Engineering car of Jean Glorio. Sean Lynn improves last time around. He stays 5th though at this point. Fontes improves, Costa improves. No improvement for Tony Wells, but he is quicker again on this, the last flying lap of the session for these cars.
And so much experience being gained, and clearly pace as well with every single lap. So again, the fastest lap sequence sheet that is produced by Alcamel Timing Systems will make fascinating reading a little bit later on. For the main part, it will have Jean Glorio at the top of the times, and Jean happy then, as are DKR Engineering, to stay there with this 2.5 tenth gap back to Alvaro Fontes.
Adrian Chiller improves. That will be his final lap though. 1:27.774, good enough for 4th quickest at the moment. Checker flag is out.
Yeah.
There's no improvement for Costa. Fontes won't, I don't think, improve on this lap either. Tony Wells does improve, stays 4th, goes back to 4th rather. But to pole position from nowhere goes Fontes in the 44 car. A 1:27 from a 1:53. No improvement in time in sectors 1 or 2, but the fastest 3rd sector of the session grabs it by 1/100th of a second.
Yep, 100th of a second is the margin between Alvaro Fontes for the 44 SPV Motorsport crew. That's the bright yellow car, not seeing that on screen. There it is. That is the car that has just snatched pole position then from DKR Engineering, and the team are ecstatic down in the pit lane. A tremendous effort there from Alvaro Fontes. The 44 car has 2 bronze drivers. He shares with the Brit Andrew Cummings, but Spaniard Alvaro Fontes has done the job there. And the question is now, how much pace can those guys offer, considering they are a bronze combo? But nevertheless, the Spanish crew are going to take their moment in the sunshine. Quite rightly, Graham Goodwin.
Took 0.3 of a second out of the best sector 3 time from what the car that had held provisional pole for the whole session. That was an amazing final sector right at the death of qualifying, and what a great pole position for this crew, the 44 crew. So that session complete. It is the number 44 SPV Motorsport Ligier that will take pole position here at the Red Bull Ring from the number 3 DKR Engineering car. Will start alongside the Ligier, then the 99 N-Race car and the 79 Nielsen Motorsports car will be on the 2nd row. 65 from Graf, and Sean Lynn dropping back to 6th position with a fine qualifying effort from him for United Autosports on the 3rd row. That was some session, Johnny.
It was great. I have to say, I thought DKR Engineering had it in the bag, and then the gap started to come down. They had over a second as an advantage for a little while, but then everyone else started to smarten up their acts, and full credit to people like Alain Costa, to Tony Wells, to Adrian Schiller. but Alvaro Fontes leaving it to the very last moment, setting the fastest time on his 10th and final lap, a 1:27.153 compared to Jean Glorio's time of a 1:27.163, and it is a chance to bow down for the crew as the 44 car rumbles by them. They're doing the "we're not worthy" sign down in the pit lane apron, and Alvaro Fontes then a little bit of bragging rights across everybody else in the entry. DKR Engineering defeated for the first time this year as far as pole positions are concerned. 1/100th of a second the margin between SPV and DKR. N-Race hang on to third, fastest in their number 99 car. Credit to Alain Costa for getting that time, a 1:27.5. To start fourth will be Tony Wells and his teammate Colin Noble for Nielsen Racing. It'll be Graf to start fifth with Emilian Cart sharing with Adrian Schiller. Sean Lynn, joined by Richard Mines in the United Autosports 23 car, will start from sixth position, and then the Ibram Pardo Javier entry of Javier Ibram and Matthijs Bakker, Marcello Marattiotto and Marco Cencetti for his first proper Le Mans Cup race. There is the celebration though, and the guys down on the floor. We are not worthy for Alvaro Fontes.
Great stuff.
And the cars now squeezing their way into Parc Fermé. A little bit, in fact, going straight back to the paddock. All 15 cars being sent. Some of them are sure to post-qualifying scrutineering, others straight back to the awning. And there is a bit of a squeeze in the paddock this weekend at Red Bull Ring, with 30 plus cars in the European Le Mans Series. We have 21 cars in the Michelin Le Mans Cup, and we have also on the bill the Formula Renault 2 litres for their Euro Cup Championship, and a great entry of single-seaters as well. So they're all crowbarred in to the paddock. Now you can see the various trailers, the various hospitality units. You can even see the TV compound bottom right there, which is where Graham and me are sitting. We are waving to you, and we're about to wave also from the pit lane. Alvaro Fontes with Charlie.
Yeah, I'm down here with a very happy Alvaro. Your team are delighted. You left that right till the last minute, didn't you?
Yes. It was a little bit difficult because of the traffic, but very happy, very happy. The car was fantastic today. The team is very, very good. Nice ambience, good feeling in this track, and let's see in the race, but so happy.
Thank you and well done.
Thank you.
Cool as a cucumber.
Yes. Congratulations to Alvaro, and it is now left to Andrew Cummings to be an able co-driver ahead of a 4 p.m. race start here in the Styrian Mountains for round 3/4, because we had two races, of course, at Le Mans of the Michelin Le Mans Cup. But this is the more standard 2-hour race with 25 points on offer for the winners. Congratulations to Alvaro Fontes and Andrew Cummings, and also to Emanuele Busnelli and Fabio Babini. Be sure to join us for the race later on, the third race of the year for the 2017 Le Mans Cup. See you later.